Sounds good.
Half of the 20s, he had a restless life in vain. He learned the art of panhandling and riding on the trains. He inherited some money for the Ford Model T. Driving blind with the married lady, he crashed into a tree. But he had the safe haven, it was the Bumpy's farm. He helped them around the house, but had photos behind the barn. And when he took goodbye, he tried to drink it all.
Today we're going to see Finland Minnesota, the documentary, and we have the high honor and privilege of having both the directors here. I'm very pleased to join me here, Ville Pesonen and Isaac Hansen. Welcome.
Welcome everybody. My name is, of course, Ville Pesonen. I am 21 years old and I'm currently a junior at the University of Minnesota Twin Cities, and I study communications. And a part of communications is the ethnographic study, and I use film as my method of research as doing projects like this, Finland, Minnesota.
I'm Isaac Hansen, also a University of Minnesota student. I study digital maps, and I also have an interest in ethnography, and I enjoy doing film on the side with Ville here.
We're studying abroad here at the University of Jyväskylä for the entire year, and we've been here since September, and we will be here until May. So, yes, Kiitos Paljon. Joo.
It's time to have a chat about what we just saw.
And we really appreciate the opportunity also to show it here. Just, in Finland, this is, I think, our first time showing it in Finland. Is that right? Yeah. Yes. Mm-hmm. So it's a huge thing for us, really.
After we decided to make this documentary, we applied for a grant through Finlandia Foundation National, and a part of that grant was advertising this film to be played at FinFest, which FinFest is a convention that celebrates Finland outside of Finland. And so the first premiere of Finland, Minnesota was at the world stage for Finland at FinFest.
Yeah, so we had a presentation in our Finnish class back at university where we just had to describe anything related to Finnish culture and to give a little presentation in Finnish, maybe 5 minutes about it. So me and Ville decided, we'll have a fun little time and drive up to this town called Finland in northern Minnesota and see what's up there. But what we found was that Finland, Minnesota as a kind of a rural town is really, really distinct compared to other, small rural American towns. And that it's not really declining in population actually, according to the census for one. There's just kind of a lot of other sources of culture and other sources of employment, and it's not near a major metro area either. So it's this isolated town that's doing very, very well on its own for some reason. So we really felt like there's so much more to say about this place, right?
Right. We knew nobody, and we had no personal connection to Finland, Minnesota. It was also during finals weekend, that we took the 4.5-hour drive up to Minnesota, slept in our car, and drove back the next day for the presentation alone. And yeah, like you said, Isaac, the community and the people that we met, we were driving home and we were shocked at the people that we met and the variety show that we went to. It was a large family, and that was something I never expected by just looking at Finland on the map of Minnesota. And that just implored us to go back the following year and make a documentary. It was an experience like no other. Absolutely. I think the culture is different, especially in Finland, Minnesota, where not all of the population was from Finnish descendants. It took a lot more effort to preserve the history and preserve the celebrations that were then passed down through the generations.
I would also say on that, like, Finnish American culture in general just feels very kind of, I guess, antiquated, you know, a lot more old-fashioned in a way, because they left all 100 years ago, and you can tell, like, even in the dialect, like, just a lot of their vocabulary and word usage is just kind of older, you know, more rooted in the past, and their traditions as well might also kind of feel that way a bit, whereas you can tell this is, like, you know, a very modern society when you come around here. Actually, the place that me and Ville met was at Salalampi, which is like a Finnish-American kind of immersion language camp. So it's just something, you know, that people come to this place and they really build a lot of enthusiasm for Finland there. You know, they learn a bit of Finnish over like the maybe 2 weeks that they're there, and then for some it's like the rest of their lives. You know, they're just continually investing in the community, or even in, you know, coming back to Finland, trying to learn more about this kind of culture and their ancestry.
Finnish American folk music does exist, and there are artists. Steve Sokola is a perfect example of a Finnish American artist. I highly recommend you all look up his music. He's on Spotify and YouTube. Super funny guy. And he films his music in Finnish and in English. And he just recently made an album where it had 35 songs, half in Finnish, half in English, and they're all his original creations. And he is then inspired by Bobby Arrow, which is another Finnish-American songwriter from the Northern Woods. But the best example to your question would be Steve Sokola. Yes.
I guess also at my parents' wedding, the band Kongashemen played, but I don't know if anyone knows them these days. They use a lot of kind of like Finglish, like they mix the language a lot, but they still speak it. So.
I do.
That's wild. I mean, some of the old timers called our place like Meidän paikka. They didn't call it our place, even though its name was literally printed in English as such. So I don't know. I once saw a sticker that said like "Voi perkele" like on a car or something.
Hancock, they have road signs in Finnish.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. They do have that. I totally forgot that Hancock, Michigan does that. And those two towns, I think, have maybe the highest concentration of Finnish Americans in the country or something like that. So you can really tell when you go there. I would say most of them are like, you know, quite open and curious to the idea, at least in my experience. Like they usually have at least some knowledge of like kind of Finnish settlers or like Finnish immigrants to North America. So it's, you know, sort of an interesting thing, but I wouldn't say many have like extensively researched the topic. Some of course have. And so it's a really good opportunity for us also to kind of, you know, show what is happening up there and sort of, you know, what's similar and what's different, just in all the facets of life around northern Minnesota, you know, Michigan, Wisconsin. Anyways.
Yes, exactly. It's met with curiosity of course the Finns are curious about it, but they don't have the means of looking into it. And so this is, the videos that we make are a bridge between Finnish America to modern Finnish life and modern Finnish life to what's going on in Finnish America. We are working on 7 projects right now, of varying lengths, all the way from documentaries about the shortest river in Finland to the local Chinese restaurant here in Jyväskylä, the family-owned business. We are making a documentary about a heavy metal band in Äänekoski, Finland, and what it takes to perform heavy metal here in Finland. And one of the biggest ones we're working on is the culture of salmiakki here in Finland, because it is not known anywhere else in the world. And this documentary follows Isaac and I's journey to the salmiakki festival in Helsinki, to an actual salmiakki factory, Namitupa. So yeah, 7 different projects, 7 different adventures. And honestly, I just want to do more. I just want to film more. And we're only here once. And I wake up every day thinking about how can we continue on film, you know? So school has been a side quest. It's yes. So yes. Yeah.
Thank you for joining our community tonight. I hope to see you again. I want to thank you for the film and for the discussion, Ville Pesonen and Isaac Hansen.